I remember saying to my sergeant, "Sarge, I've got no option. I'm going to have to ram this car, put it out of action before he kills a family of people, or worse, a busload of people, something like that. This guy needs to be put off the road. We've got to stop this pursuit now. 80 kilometres is far too fast. 180 kilometres we got up to top speed in this huge storm." I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. Had a fair few emails lately from people asking what was the worst or the most dangerous pursuit I've ever been involved in. That's an easy one, because I was involved in a pursuit that could have ended a little baby's life very easily, a 6-week-old baby, and I was going to take drastic measures to end this pursuit, mainly because I couldn't see any other way around it, and neither could the senior sergeant I was working with. I had an extremely experienced senior sergeant with me that night. We're just doing an 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. shift on the Pacific Highway, just a fully marked police car, letting people know that we're out there, so not to speed. Doing a few random breath tests. Random breath tests are always good to see us getting around on the road in the middle of the night, especially midweek. Anyway, we went to pull this older car over as an old Corona, I think, from memory, very old car, and it didn't pull over. It's starting to sort of like rain, it's foggy, it's a horrible night, and this car decides, it's going to make a runner for it. So we'd been hunting around the back streets of this town that's on the Pacific Highway, just seeing what we could find, but we just jumped back onto the highway and there was this old Corona in front of us, so we thought we'd stop him, put the lights and sirens on, and no way. He's given us a bird out the window and away he's shot. And I thought, you have got to be joking, haven't you? Like an old car he was in, wearing this beautiful SS Club Sport Commodore, and he's in this absolute shit box that you wouldn't even sit in. But it gets worse, because he can get that shit box up to 160, 170 kilometres an hour, can't he? In the midst of this just about cyclone. So by the time we'd gone 10 kilometres up the road, this little bit of rain had whipped into this really windy, horrible, big storm. We're letting VKG, the police radio, know exactly what was going on with this chase. And because it was midweek in the winter, there's no backup, basically no backup anywhere. So we're out on the highway going north, and he's driving like there's no tomorrow. He's driving like a bat out of hell. He's doing between 140 and 160. The rain and the wind are buffeting our cars around. It's that wicked. There's bits of tree getting thrown on the road. The senior sergeant who I was with said, "Listen, how about we call out one of these, what we call lock-up keepers, which is a small police station that's on the highway. See if the radio can get onto one of these fellas at one of these small stations to see if you can drop in front of him, and we'll try and sandwich him, see what we can do there." So anyway, the police radio operators got onto a fellow who was off duty, but he's thrown his gear on and jumped in his police four-wheel drive and headed for the highway, which wasn't far away from the station that he was in charge of. But instead of popping out in front of him, he just missed cue and ended up behind him just. Now, before I start saying about this other officer helping, this fellow had been going over crests on the wrong side of the road. The Pacific Highway in those days was 2 lanes north, 2 lanes south. He'd been going down the wrong side of the road over crests at 140, 150, 160, 170 in this old shitbox that I wouldn't even sit in. I said to my boss, I said, "Sarge, I said, you just want me to put lights and sirens off on this one and then see what happens, because he's going to end up killing someone. He's going to kill someone any minute, and certainly I don't want to be the contributing factor." So my boss is going, "Yeah, put the lights and sirens off for a sec. Let's have a look what he does." So we put the lights and sirens off. We backed right off, and we're watching him from a distance. And he's still doing it. He's zigzagging down the wrong side of the road. Cars are coming over crest. He's sort of just mishitting them. He's gone off the wrong side of the road in the dirt. He's slid back on the road. It's just an absolute nightmare. I'm thinking, what the heck is going on here? We're going to have a huge problem on our hands shortly when this fellow hits someone. Anyway, the sergeant said, look, that doesn't work, sort of thing. Get your lights and sirens back on, get up on him. And that's when, just as we're talking now, when the fellow from the one-man stations jumped out in front of me in this big Land Cruiser. Anyway, so there's the offending vehicle, the Land Cruiser, and then ourselves. We're all travelling at about, at that stage, 160 to 170, because the crooks ramped it up as soon as he's seen this other police vehicle joining the chase. And I kid you not, I'm in this Club Sport Commodore, and in the corners, when I'm doing 170 sort of thing, the back is starting to slide out like I'm in some sort of rally. And the sergeant with me goes, oh, get up there a bit closer, go a bit harder sort of thing. I said, Sergeant, every time I come to these corners, I feel the back sliding out on me. I said, don't want to get killed, let's just play the game, cautiously. But it became very obvious that by letting this guy continue on with his pursuit, there's going to be a fatal accident, and it could have been a multiple fatality. He could have hit a coach. He could have hit a minibus full of people, a family, who knows. But one thing's for sure, he wasn't going to stop, and he wasn't going to stop driving like a possessed, out-of-control fool. I have never been so scared of the situation than this one. It was just a horrible, horrible scenario. And regardless of what happened, if we let him go, he's still going to do what he's doing. If we get up on him. So we've radioed ahead, fairway ahead, tried to get on other police vehicles. The closest other backup we can get 3/4 of an hour away up the highway. So it's just us, the other fella from the one-man station, and this crook. And I said to the senior sergeant was with him, I said, Sarge, I said, listen, in all honesty, I'm going to have to knock this bloke off the road. He said, well, you got to do what you got to do. We're here to save lives, and if saving lives means we're going to have to knock this bloke off the road, we're not allowed to do it in the police instruction book, but protection of life and property is our number one thing. So if protection of life means whacking him in the side and pushing him off the road and seeing what happens from there, I think you were saying, I think that's maybe what we're going to have to do. So I knew a lot of truck drivers in those days. I used to do a lot of heavy vehicle enforcement, and a truck driver's come on, he's gone on the CB radio, he's gone, that's you, Mick? I said, yeah. He said, what's going on? You want this bloke stopped? And you got to be very careful what you say to truck drivers about wanting a vehicle stopped, because they'll stop him, all right, and it's back on, and I don't want to be the one saying, yeah, I gave the truck driver permission to drive over the top of him or something like that. So I said, hey, yeah, look, we appreciate your help, but there's only so much you can do, sort of thing. They said, we might be able to block out trucks across the road, so he's got nowhere to go. They said, we've been seeing and communicating with each other, and we all know what he's been up to. He's driving in the wrong side of double centre lines. He's going to kill a family of kids, mum and dad or whatever. They could see that we had a need to stop this guy too. So as we come into this township on the highway, it's a bit of a fun little bottleneck at the time, because it's now all the M1, the National Highway, but I'm talking 20 years ago plus. As we're coming into this township, there's a 45-degree bend where you have to slow down to about 40 kilometres an hour to go around the bend. And I said to the sergeant, Sergeant, I'm going to push him off here. What I was going to use is what they call the PIT technique, positive immobilisation technique. We don't use it in Australia. It's not authorised to be used in Australia, but everyone knows what it is. It's putting the offender out of action, so stopping his further actions from killing himself and other people. But in the meantime, if I shove him off the road and things go wrong, his car could explode, he could be burned alive. there's a whole heap of scenarios that can happen. I could nudge him and just spin out and be that, and then just get him out at gunpoint. But a very big unknown. But just as we come up this corner and we're discussing whether I should do it or not, this truck driver's coming. He's gone, Mick, we've got the road blocked ahead of you, and these blokes have put their semi-trailers right across the road, so there's nowhere to go. So it's, well, this is okay, because he's in a sort of 50, 60 area. He has slowed down to 50 or 60. And then we've come over a crest and these trucks have blocked the road. There's nowhere to go. In between time, I look in my rear view mirror and I see this blue light. I think, what's that behind me? And there was an unmarked police car that had joined the chase, but he hadn't been part of the radio conversation. And to tell you the truth, I hadn't seen him there till the last minute, even though I've scanned my mirrors every 3 seconds. He's come up from nowhere, this fellow, so I don't know whether he'd seen us and done a quick U and come after us. But because he was a Sydney vehicle, he didn't have the same radio as we had, so we couldn't talk to each other, so we didn't know he was in there. But the trucks have got this blockage there. The fellow's come up, he's realised that he can't do much. This other highway patrol vehicle, was an unmarked highway patrol vehicle with the sergeant from Sydney in it, has gone down my left side to sort of block him off because he looked like he was going to turn left. The offending vehicle's turned left straight into this side of this Sydney highway patrol car and ripped the side out of it. Then we've managed to block him from the rear, jumped out. My sergeant and the other constable from one man stations quickly grabbed the driver, got him on the ground, handcuffed him. I look on the back seat to see who's there, and you would not believe it. You would not believe this one. Oh my goodness. What was there was a 6-week-old little boy. A 6-week-old little boy laid on the back seat of this heap of junk. No seatbelts, no nothing. I was just about to put this car out of action and send it flying into oblivion. Oh, I could not believe it. Talk about hard in your throat. Like, you know, I've opened the door and this little baby out. I noticed the baby's shaking like a leaf, and I thought, well, the little fella obviously knows there's something going on. He wasn't old enough to know what actually was going on or had gone on. Anyway, quick look around the rest of the vehicle, and there was a firearm on the front floor. There was syringes everywhere in the car. One of them was half full on the dash. This fellow had been shooting up heroin as we were driving along. Later on in the interview phase, he'd tell us that he thought we were UFOs chasing him, and he was trying to get away from them. And where does this baby come into it? Where does this poor little 6-week-old tiny little baby that was on the back seat that I would more than likely have killed if I'd have put this car off the road? So I was trying to do the right thing. I'm thinking, do the right thing. You don't want to kill a family of people. Do the right thing. Push this car off the road. I'll get into trouble a bit. I'll probably have to go down and do my high-speed driving course again. But at least this bloke won't kill a family of people or won't hit a coach load of people or something. So I was literally seconds away from hitting this bloke in the back of his car, spinning him around and down a culvert or whatever happened to him after that. But the truck drivers just said over the CB at the right time, they blocked the road, and that's what stopped me from doing it. And when I saw this baby on the back seat, I felt physically ill. We took the baby to the local hospital. This township on the highway had a little hospital, 12 beds and a doctor. The doctors took one look at him. He goes, this baby's addicted to heroin. And I said, how do you know he's addicted to heroin? He goes, can you see him shaking? I said, yeah, I thought he was shaking because of the incident, because of the pursuit and maybe get thrown around or something. He goes, no, he's shaking because his mother will be breastfeeding him and she will be a heroin addict. So we're going to have to give him some Valium to settle him down. Well, when push come to shove came and everything had happened, we'd taken the blood and urine samples off this fellow who'd arrested him, searched him, all that sort of caper, got his car organised to be taken back to a holding yard for further inspection. It comes out that he had stolen this baby just out of a pram from somewhere in Sydney, just taken someone's baby and off he shot, as he thought it was his baby, because he'd been taking a whole heap of LSD, heroin, whatever bad drug you can think of, he'd been injecting it into his arm. He's a bad crook and a very bad drug addict. So, yeah, apparently he'd stabbed a fellow in Sydney multiple times, grabbed this baby, jumped in the car and was heading for Queensland when we went to pull him over for random breath testing. And that was the most intense pursuit I've ever been involved with, the most upsetting pursuit I've ever been involved with, because the outcome could have been so much different. The outcome in the end was a fantastic outcome. Maybe not for the sergeant in his highway patrol car going back from a court matter up north, because he's decided he'd like to help us out and help us chase, and all of a sudden his car's written off. It's had the whole side ripped out of it. It's gone. So it's not going to be going anywhere. So he was pretty livid about it all. But then again, he chose to jump into the chase. Just because we didn't get damaged and he did is not really our problem. We're very thankful that he jumped in to help us, that's for sure. If he's watching, thank you. You know who you are. Big thank you. And a big thank you to those truck drivers too, and they know who they are. And I've got a lot of respect for truck drivers. I think they're fantastic people, and they've helped me out so much over the years. Truck drivers have backed me up even if I've been on the side of the road with an offender that's bunging it on, trying to arrest him, trying to get handcuffs on him, and truck drivers have pulled in to help me continue with the arrest of people. So they've backed me up. Mainly because people treat you as you treat them. I had a lot of respect for truck drivers. They had a lot of respect for me. I used to book the truck drivers if they were speeding or if they didn't do the logbook. But they knew that. That was my job. My job was to do that. Their job was to transport all our food around safely. But I had a lot of respect for them, a lot of respect for me. And they certainly helped us out in a big way that night. So at the end of the day, I suppose the result was extremely good. Certainly very memorable, and a memory that I could probably do without, that's for sure. But yeah, so that's my longest, most dangerous pursuit, or one of them for sure, up near the top 10 sort of thing that I've been involved with. And thanks guys for sending emails in and letting me know what you want to watch and listen to. And I hope you enjoyed it.